Live from the Grant Price Studio in the McElroy Communication Arts Center with news that you need to know. This is KnightWatch.
Good evening, Cedar Valley. I'm Shelby Granath, and welcome to KnightWatch. We have a special pet adoption edition of KnightWatch for you tonight. Waverly Pet Rescue founder Sherry Nolte is here with a few of her furry friends that are up for adoption. But before we get started, let's take a look at what made headlines this past week with KnightWatch news anchor Nathan Ford. Nathan?
Thanks, Shelby. One of the world's largest running dictators has been killed. Former Libyan Prime Minister Muammar Gaddafi was reported dead this morning. Graphic cell phone video appears to show Gaddafi's body surrounded by celebrating Libyans. United States President Barack Obama made a statement about the death of Gaddafi this afternoon. Obama said that it was the end of a long, painful chapter for the people of Libya. A Northwest Iowa family is lucky to be alive today. A fire early Monday morning burned down the family's house while they were sleeping. Luckily, a family member discovered the blaze when a friend sent her a text message, causing her phone to vibrate. Everyone made it out of the house without injury. The cause of the fire is believed to be electrical wiring on the front porch. The family is currently staying with neighbors after their house was destroyed. For more news, tune into Monday night at 8 for WTV8 News. Now back to Shelby for more KnightWatch.
Thank you, Nathan. When we return, Pet Rescue founder Sherry Nolte will be here with a couple of her adoptable pets who are looking for a new home. We'll be right back. Welcome back to KnightWatch. Joining me tonight is Waverly Pet Rescue founder Sherry Nolte. Sherry is joined by a special friend right now. Who do we have?
This is Max.
And what kind of cat is Max?
I would call him a gray tabby, maybe tiger striped.
Okay. How old is Max?
He's about 2. He was a stray right here in Waverly. Some really sweet elderly ladies were feeding him, and he was a stray, and they just decided, he needs to get off the streets before winter, so we had them put a trap out to catch him, and he's done really well in his foster home. He was really shy and scared at first. We don't think he's ever had a real home before, so those first couple of weeks, he was scared and hid a lot, but now he comes out all the time.
How old is Zane?
A year and a half.
Now, what is Zane's story?
He originally came from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He was a stray and ended up in the shelter down there, and they're a kill shelter. And so we took him in when his time was up. He was adopted almost a year ago, and he was just recently returned because they moved to a town with a pit bull ban, which is just the wrongest thing in the world, because this dog wouldn't hurt anybody. And it's just wrong to discriminate against a breed. I can see like a vicious dog ban, but not, look at him. He loves belly rubs. He loves to give kisses. It's just not right. He didn't do anything wrong ever in his whole life.
Right.
So we got him back because we have a policy of, if you can't keep the dog, no matter what the reason, we want him back. So now he's in a foster home. He's a good boy. He lives with a little teeny dog, and just a good boy. He's just very big. He's like 80-some pounds.
Welcome back. Somewhere between 6 and 8 million stray cats and dogs are in animal shelters around the world. About 3 to 4 million of them are then euthanized. KnightWatch Ben Hoppenworth tells us the story of how Waverly Pet Rescue is helping to decrease that number, as well as how you can help in this week's KnightWatch Extra.
Back in 2006, had a kitten show up on our doorstep, not even a stray. Somebody had put it in a box and taped it shut, and it was just frustrating that there really was nowhere for that kitten to go. So it was dangerous. If we would not have found it, the little kitty could have died.
This was the event that helped Sherry Nolte found the Waverly Pet Rescue. The pet rescue began in 2006 and still running strong, saving the lives of pets in Northeast Iowa. The rescue isn't a shelter, but houses its cats and dogs through petfinder.com. It is entirely volunteer-based and runs through people in the community becoming foster parents.
All it takes is to email me and, let me know where you live and what pets you have, and then I research and make sure that animal's up to date on shots, and then they meet the dog and just goes from there.
If you decide that you want to be a foster parent, be careful, you might just end up falling in love.
I call it the first foster home syndrome because it's the first time they foster, almost every one of them ends up adopting that first foster dog.
Even Waverly Pet Rescue founder Sherry Nolte fell victim to the foster syndrome with her very own Basset Hound.
Even Stella here was my first and only foster dog. I couldn't do it. I couldn't let her go to someone else. Her owner was an older guy from Waterloo, and he told me he had just given her a couple donuts. That was her breakfast, and I just went, okay, and I took her home.
To help out dogs like Stella, you can donate cash, but there's an even simpler way to donate with just a little bit of recycling. Some local businesses help out with pop can recycling centers to help fund the rescue.
If you don't have money that you feel you can spare to donate, gosh, take your cans and bottles and drop them off at Norby's or Walgreens. That is amazing how much that helps. 5 cents at a time, it adds up.
For KnightWatch, I'm Ben Hoppenworth.
The Waverly Pet Rescue also accepts donations through their PayPal account. You can donate by visiting www.wpr.petfinder.com. Coming up in 2 minutes, Sherry will be back with 2 more of her canines that are looking for somewhere to call home. We'll be right back. KnightWatch, Sherry is back, and with her is one of her adoptable dogs, Lucky. So what kind of dog is Lucky?
Lucky is a border collie mix of some sort. We never were quite sure of his second breed. We just took a guess. He's about 8 years old. His owners were from Sumner, and they were moving and couldn't take him with, and so we took him in. He's just a really good dog, kind of shy at first, unsure in new situations. He's doing really well right now, I think. He's very easygoing, laid back. He's older, so he'd be the perfect dog if you just need someone to watch TV with you on the couch and just hang out a little bit. He's not going to need as much attention as a dog like Zane would. He's just a laid-back, easygoing guy.
Now, what's the difference? How hard is it for the dogs to adapt to their new situation? The difference between stray dogs and dogs like Lucky, who had an owner but they had to move?
It just depends on the dog. It really does. I feel that our foster home system is a lot easier for dogs to adjust to than a shelter would be. And actually, in a shelter, Lucky would have never made it out because he's too old. And so that's why I like Waverly Pet Rescue, because we give the older dogs a chance. We like the older dogs. And shelters, they're so overwhelmed, they tend to just pick and keep the ones that are 3 years old or younger. So Lucky, he's pretty lucky.
What are some things that Lucky likes to do?
Just he does well with his foster brother, and they love to play and go outside and run around, and then he'll just come in and chill out and relax. He's just he likes to probably spend time on the couch, and well, if you let him on the couch, but he just likes to be where you are. And like right now, he's looking for his foster mom. He's become attached to her, and he really needs an owner that just wants to spend time with him and let him be with them, and he'll get attached to someone new.
Who's with us now?
This is Benji. He is about 3. He was actually a stray over in Owine. How a dog like this ends up a stray is beyond me. And our dog expert guessed him to be a Norwich Terrier Schnauzer mix. Not exactly sure. I wish we knew what exactly breed he was, but we're not sure. He's just very, very cute.
And what's Benji's personality like?
He's really friendly. He gets along really well with little dogs. He's sometimes can be scared of the bigger dogs. Not sure why that would be, but given time, he'd be fine with bigger dogs. He barks at cats, but he doesn't chase them or anything. He just kind of barks at them. He's a good boy.
And what does he like to do?
I would say he's just really friendly, likes to be where you are. He's just looking for someone to love him and be his best friend.
What kind of owner would be good for Benji?
Gosh, anyone, especially people with kids. He, you know, even if he got all excited, he wouldn't, if he knocked your kid over, it wouldn't be as bad as a gigantic dog. Pretty much anybody. He's almost house trained. You'd want to start him off in a crate. And, you know, as a stray, he's come along well.
Welcome back to Night Watch. Before we go, I'd like to thank Sherry Nolte for being here and bringing Max, Benji, Zane, and Lucky along with her. So the adoption process, how does someone go about adopting a pet?
It's really easy. You go on our website. It's wpr.petfinder.com. There is an application right online. Just fill it out and click submit, and that gets emailed to us. And it just goes from there. We do background checks, and we call vets. And if you rent, we call your landlord. And we, look for inside homes only. That's dogs and cats.
Okay. Have you ever had to decline an adoption application?
Actually, just 2 today. One person had a dog, a lab already that they only keep outside. Well, I'm not going to send my dog there because it's probably going to end up outside. Another person has pets, but they're not up to date on shots, so I'm not going to let my animal go there because it's likely that you're not going to keep our pet up to date on shots. So yeah, it happens all the time. I cry a lot because it's very heartbreaking, but the animals need Waverly Pet Rescue, and the volunteers that I have are devoted, and we are in this to help as many as we can.
Right. Okay. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's edition of Night Watch. Once again, if you'd like to adopt any of these pets, you can visit wpr.petfinder.com or email the Pet Rescue at waverlypetrescue@mchsi.com. To donate to the rescue, you can also visit their Pet Finder website and click on the donate button on the bottom. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another brand new edition of Night Watch. Have a good night.